Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to integrate React Redux with React Native. So we will be integrating Redux Toolkit with React Native more specifically, and that is the recommended one as well. So firstly, inside package.json I have installed two dependencies, so you can just install Redux.js Toolkit as well as React Redux. Now given that Redux is a JavaScript library or a TypeScript library, this will work both on old architecture as well as new architecture. You don't have to worry about it. Next, firstly we have to define this. Once you install all these two dependencies, then you will have to define a folder called store inside src, and here I have defined one file called index.tsx. Sorry, first I'll show you guys the output. So here I have three buttons. First is called change name. If I change the name, I will see the name changed. I will click on change roll number. I am able to see the new roll number, and if I click on change name and roll number, I am able to see the new things. If I click on change name again, I am able to see this value. So pretty simple example, but this will help you to do all sorts of state management with Redux. So let's get started. So firstly you will have to write a bit of boilerplate code. Create a folder called store. Inside that, create a file called repository slice.ts. Now you can name this whatever you feel like, and here I have created only one file, but you can create multiple files if you want to. Now that would depend upon your project structure and project needs. One slice file can contain multiple methods, so this kind of like multiple actions which we have. And firstly, if you see this repository.slice, I am creating this create slice, importing this create slice as well as payload action. And for repository state, so here you will have to tell what all things this particular slice will contain. Here I am just telling it you will contain a name as well as roll number. Here you can have multiple parameters if you want to. If you want more variables, you can add that. Then the next thing is we have to define an initial state. So here I have defined for name it is empty string. For roll number I have kept it as null, because the data type for roll number is number slash null, number or null. Okay, next we have to create a create slice. Now this is boilerplate code. You have to give it some name. I have given it as change name, but you can name it as change name and roll number, something like this. Then we have to pass our initial state which we have defined. Then we have to define reducer. So a reducer will have multiple actions, so this multiple methods which we have, one for change name, one for change roll number, and one for change name and roll number. So once whenever you want to whenever you call change name method, you have to pass some string to this. So this is again boilerplate code, but the important part is this data type. So here I am telling that whenever you call change name, I am expecting an input of type string, and once we get the input, to access this string we have to write action.payload. Now I need to change this name variable, right? So to access that, we can do state.name, which we get it from this. Similarly, for change roll number, I am expecting a number or a null or data type of value, and to access it I am using action.payload, and I want to update the roll number. So to update it, I can just access state.roll number equal to action.payload. Now for change name and roll number, here I am expecting two inputs. So for that I am using a JSON object. So I want a new name which is of type string and a new roll number which is of type number. So here you can see now to access roll number I can just do state.roll number, but here given that this is a JSON object, you will have to access it using action.payload.new roll number. Similarly for new name, action.payload.new name, and I am updating our name. Next we are exporting all the methods which we have defined, like the change name, change roll number, change name and roll number, and then we are exporting our reducer as well. Then you will have to go to index.ts. Now this is boilerplate code. Write all this boilerplate code you don't have to really understand it. The only important thing is we have to import our reducer from the repository slice which you have defined, and pass it over here. Now if you have multiple files, you will have multiple imports, and here you will have to write multiple reducers. So suppose you have some other repository like I don't know, data repository, and then it points to the data repository reducer. You can write something like this, but currently I don't have it. I will just remove this. All right, now to use it, firstly the uppermost parent component needs to wrap using the provider. So for that I have imported the store as well as provider from React Redux, and the parent component has been marked as provider store equal to store. Now this parent component can't directly access the method. Only the child components of this particular parent component can access all the methods as well as all the particular values. So here you can see I have defined one more component called my child component, and if I go inside it, here you can see now whenever you want to change something, call those methods which you have defined, like change name, change roll number, change name, you have to use dispatch. So to use dispatch we use this particular hook from React Redux, and to get those values which we have defined like name and roll number, we have to use selector and pass our repository's name. So state.repositories. Now here I have one button, so on first button click I want to change the name, so I can do dispatch, then the method name which we have defined over here, and it takes an input of type string, so I'm passing string. Similarly for second change roll number, again we have to use dispatch, change roll number, pass number type or pass null, and for third one again change name and roll number, I'm passing a JSON object. Now to access it, like to display it, we just have to write name and roll number. We don't have to worry about any other thing, and we are already accessing name and roll number using use selector. So yeah, that's how simple it is. One important thing is don't write this provider at the very top level component, because even if something changes, your values, your child component would be re-rendered. So it's like it depends on you, like choose your parent component wisely. That's what I will say while wrapping this provider. Also, one more easy performance benefit which you can do is you can add if checks all over the place. If state dot name equal to action dot payload, if it already has that same value, then sorry, if it is not equal to, okay, what am I missing? Is it value? Okay, let me just check this. What basically I'm trying to do is, if the name is already equal to this value which you are sending, then there is no need to update, because it will cause unnecessary re-render. Let me just check the documentation on this. So there was no error actually. It was a prettier bug, so this is fine. Similar checks you can add it for roll number as well as this as well, because we don't want to update our state if the value is already the same. Now if now there won't be any change as such, but here if I try to do change name again and again, this state won't be re-rendered. Again, this is very difficult to see, but yeah, it is what it is. Again, if I do change name and roll number, if I do change name, I'm getting the updated value. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.